And thanks so much for tuning in to the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are continuing on in our theme of resting, understanding the importance of going to the Lord. Hopefully, you were encouraged yesterday by Jesus' invitation to come to Him, to find rest in Him. I know yesterday's Daily Dose was a little bit long, and my apology for that. Today's is going to be shorter. We're going to go through one verse, all right? One verse in the book of Psalms. And I shared yesterday, like, why talk about rest? I've got my Pendel shirt on all week long, and I'm so thankful for our district leadership as they are focusing on replenishing and finding rest, soul care, because just like any job, any responsibility, we can put that burden upon ourselves. And whatever God has called you to do, you're probably weighed down by the responsibility. I know I am. I consider what God has called me to a high calling, and I take very seriously the weight of responsibility that He has entrusted to me. And I know if I'm not careful, I know if I'm not taking the time to rest in the Lord, to take advantage of Jesus's invitation to come to Him, I can start leading out of fear, out of insecurity. I can start leading out of and trusting in my own ability and my own effort. And that's why it's so important to not do that, to take the time, the intentionality to take to heart the invitation that Jesus has for each and every single one of us. That is what we talked about yesterday. And today I want to talk about the benefits of that. I want you to think about, I don't know if you're a foodie. I don't know if you enjoy food. I do enjoy food. My favorite is meat. I love barbecue. I love smoked meat. I love wings. I love ribs. I love steak. Like all of those things. I love that. I want you to think about, maybe your mouth is watering a little bit. If you're not a meat person, maybe you're not. But I want you to think about, what is your favorite meal? What is something that you're just like, oh, I would love to have that in front of me. I'd love to devour that. All right. I want you to think about that. What makes you enjoy that meal? What makes you enjoy that food so much? I want us now to think about what benefit it is when we go to the Lord. Remember the invitation yesterday, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, that they were burdened. That can be each and every single one of us, right? Because of all the weight of responsibilities that we have. All we need to do is go to Him and listen to this challenge and also this command from David in the book of Psalms. Psalm 34 verse 8 says this: taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, the joys of those who take refuge in Him. Taste and see. I just had you kind of mentally think about a food that you enjoy. And maybe you just began to daydream about that, kind of like what I did a little bit when I was talking about it. Do we daydream and think about the joy of being in God's presence? This challenge that David is commanding each and every single one of us is really to challenge us to experience His presence, His goodness. Taste and see that the Lord is good. When you take time to study His word, when you take time and intentionality to tune out the distractions of this world and to tune into His voice, to tune into His presence, you will understand His goodness. You begin to taste and see. You see, what David is challenging each and every single one of us is to actually experience it. When I shared with you what I enjoy when it comes to eating meat, I can share all those things, but that doesn't really do much for you unless you actually experience it for yourself. And that's what David is saying to us. That's what I am saying to you. Would you experience his goodness for yourself? Not relying on someone else's experience. You know, we can be challenged and inspired through a daily dose, right? We can be challenged and inspired through a sermon, a podcast, a reel, whatever it may be. We can be challenged by that, absolutely. But let's not rely on someone else's experience with God to fulfill our own joy, to fulfill our own goodness of God. No, no, no. We need to find refuge and strength in him personally. Remember that invitation that Jesus gave us yesterday to come to him? Just because we have the invitation doesn't mean that that is a guarantee that we'll experience it. We need to choose to go to him. And later in James, James chapter 1, it says to come to him and he will come to you. Draw near to him and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. And so when we choose to do that, that is that promise that he has to us. But we have to be willing to taste and see. We have to be willing not just to know the invitation is there, but to go to the party, to take the time to be in his presence. Let me read that one verse one more time. Psalm 34, verse 8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, the joys of those who take refuge in him. Choose to do that today and experience his goodness for you personally. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.